Welcome friends, we were discussing the case of network management that hub and spoke systems are very popular and there are large number of examples where we need network concept in our booking systems. Because if I take example of flights, we are going from one station to another and from that station to a further new destinations. We are booking hotel rooms for multiple nights, we are taking cars for multiple days. So, everywhere it is not necessary, you cannot force customer to just use service for one instance. There are sequence of services you are expecting, and whenever you are expecting sequence of services, the concept of network management comes into the picture. We have discussed that concept of network management in our last session also. We discussed that how the concept of linear programming is possible, greedy algorithm also we discussed, and finally we discussed that the concept of virtual nesting is going to be the most important, interesting, which will help us to allocate the capacity using the concepts of EMSR, which we have discussed for single instance cases, where you are going from only one origin to one destination. But how it is going to be applicable in network management, that we have to discuss. We saw briefly in our last session the concept of indexing, we discussed the concept of bucketing, and we discussed the concept of ODF also. In this particular session, we will discuss the concept of opportunity cost, we will discuss the concept of net leg fare, and how using these concepts we are going to make different buckets, and then we will see how we are going to use these buckets for our capacity allocation, and all these things we will see with the help of examples on Excel software. Now, as we discussed in our previous session, just for the continuity, indexing is the concept which is required for this network management problems. Now, when you are going for one station to another station to another station, you have to see that this is leg 1, this is leg 2. If a customer is coming for this complete route, you need to ensure that capacity is available in both the legs, and there are customers who are expecting services only for this leg or this leg. So, in such scenario, considering the different type of revenues which you may get, and whenever you are booking a customer for a particular leg, maybe the total seat from A, B, C, if you are booking for A to C, it may be at a cost of a customer is denied service in A to B, a customer denied service in B to C, or two customers denied services, one in AB and another in BC. So, all these possibilities are there, and denying all these possibilities, you are giving a seat for a customer in A to C. So, whenever you are allocating a seat in a particular sector or for the entire journey, there will be some opportunity cost also, because you are denying services to some other customers also who may come at a later time. So, therefore, we are going to develop a concept which is known as net leg fare. The revenue which you are earning by offering a seat to a customer in AC, this revenue is coming at the cost of denying the services for some other type of customers who may come for different types of services using the same resources. So, that is the opportunity cost concept. So, the net leg fare for ODFI for leg K, for this particular leg K ODFI there are different types of ODFs. Total fare for ODF I minus sum of opportunity cost on all resources other than K in ODF I. So, the meaning of this statement, that what is the meaning of sum of opportunity cost on all resources other than K in ODF I, that will come to understand you in few moments, but you can understand broadly one thing, that net fare equals to total fare minus some opportunity cost. That we will see what is this total fare and what is this opportunity cost with the help of examples in subsequent slides. So, if we see that using this formula of net leg fare, that is with the help of one example which we are continuing since our previous session, where we see that NLF calculation will come from total fare minus opportunity cost. Now, in this particular case, we have this example where you are coming from Mumbai, Delhi, Roorkee. Now, if you are travelling from Mumbai to Roorkee in a single flight, the fare which we are expecting is $300. Now, based on our previous experiences, that how many times seats between Mumbai to Delhi are occupied, how many times Delhi to Roorkee seats are occupied, you are saying that you generally may get $180 between Mumbai to Delhi and $105 between Delhi to Roorkee. That is the possible profits. These are the possible profits between Mumbai to Delhi and Delhi to Roorkee respectively. So, therefore, these are opportunity cost. When you are taking a fare of $300 from Mumbai to Roorkee directly, you are having the opportunity cost of 180 between Mumbai to Delhi and 105 for Delhi to Roorkee sector. Now, here comes the concept of net leg fare. So, you are taking the net leg fare for leg 1 and leg 2. For calculating the net leg fare for leg 1, that is Mumbai Delhi, you will minus the opportunity cost of Delhi Roorkee sector from the total fare you are expecting from origin to destination. So, 300 is actually the ODF I, that is for the entire route from origin to destination, minus the opportunity cost of this particular leg, that is going to give you the NFL for this particular first leg, that is 195. And similarly, NFL for second case will be 300 minus 180, that is 120. This concept of NLF is going to be very useful for the purpose of indexing, for the purpose of bucketing, and therefore, we will be actually developing one full example so that you can understand that how we are going to use this virtual nesting for our capacity allocation. Now, you consider a scenario where Mumbai, Delhi, Roorkee, same example, and we are given the opportunity cost of 250 and 800 respectively based on our historical data, and now we want to develop 3 buckets using these 3 things. We will discuss that how we are deciding the ranges for these particular buckets. For that purpose, the data which we are going to use, you are already familiar with this data. Right now, I will request that do not focus on the entire table, just focus on first 3 columns of this table, first 3 columns on the table. that you are flying from Mumbai to Delhi, Delhi to Roorkee and Mumbai to Roorkee. Now, in every product you have two types of fares, discounted fare and full fare. So, if you are flying from Mumbai to Delhi, discounted fare, the fare is $400 and full fare is $650. Similarly, Delhi to Roorkee, 550 and 750 respectively, and for the entire journey it is 1300 and 1800. You are given the opportunity cost like 250 and 800. So, for this sector opportunity cost is 250 and for this sector opportunity cost is 800. So, for calculation of net leg fare, when I am travelling from Mumbai to Delhi, there is no opportunity cost. Similarly, between Mumbai to Delhi on the full fare, there is no opportunity cost. Flight 2 is not required in this case. So, NLF and all these things are not applicable. Flight 1 is not operating between Delhi to Roorkee. So, there is no question of NLF for these two cases. Similarly, flight 2 is only operating between Delhi to Roorkee. So, there is no case of opportunity cost minus, and that is the total fare is their net leg fare also. Now, when you are giving the priority to Mumbai to the Roorkee customers, whether they are discounted or full fare, you see why this opportunity cost issue is coming in this case. Because if you take a customer who is Mumbai to Roorkee on a discounted, so the discounted customers or full fare customers which may travel from Mumbai to Delhi, let us say 650 and 750. So, you are giving a seat to a complete customer and the loss which is possible may be 6 plus 7 for 1400. So, you could have earned $1400 if you get two customers who are ready to pay full fare, one between Mumbai to Delhi and another between Delhi to Roorkee. So, there is opportunity cost you are incurring if you are offering a seat to Mumbai to Roorkee customer. Same applies to Mumbai to Roorkee full fare customer, that there may be some kind of opportunity loss you may have, because there may not come any customer from Mumbai to Roorkee, and there may be customers who may come between Mumbai to Delhi and Delhi to Roorkee, and if you keep seats blocked for your Mumbai to Roorkee full fare customer, declining services to Mumbai to Delhi and Delhi to Roorkee individual customers. So, holding the seat for these customer is again coming at a opportunity cost. So, NLF concept is applicable for these categories only, it will not be applicable to these categories. Now, for calculation of NLF for flight 1, flight 1 is offering between leg 1 and flight 2 is leg 2. Now, opportunity cost is given to us that for leg 2 the opportunity cost is 800, this is leg 2 and this is leg 1. So, when I have to calculate the opportunity NLF for leg 1, I have to subtract the opportunity cost of leg 2. So, 1300 minus 800 is 500 and 1300 this is 1800 minus 800 is 1000. 800 is the opportunity cost of leg 2, and in this case 1300 minus 250, that is 1050, and 1800 minus 250, that is 1550, that is the NLF. So, now we have NLFs for all these possible cases. In this question, we have given you the rules for making the buckets. Generally, in a practical scenario, these rules you have to create on your own. You have to make your own rules, and there is no magic in developing these rules. So, what you can do, that you can put all these NLFs in ascending or descending orders. For example, in this case let me put 1550, then 1050, then 1000, then 750, then 650, then 550, then 500 and 400. These are the different NLFs. So, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, you can divide in some suitable number of buckets these different NLFs. Maybe you can take 3 buckets, maybe you can take 4 buckets. Since we have done this example with the help of 3 buckets, so one possible bucket is this area where you have more or less similar values of NLFs. However, one NLF is 1000 and another NLF is 1550, but on a larger label it appears to be okay. Another is this second bucket where you have between 600 to 1000, and third bucket where you have less than 600. So, these are the 3 you can say categories of NLFs which are helping us in making different buckets. So, these are the buckets and these are the NLFs, and on the basis of that, if you see here we have written this 400 falls in bucket 3, 650 falls in bucket 2, then 550 falls in bucket 3, 750 falls in bucket 2, 500 falls in bucket 3, 1050 falls in bucket 1, and 1000 and 1550 all are in bucket 1. So, in this way our bucketing is done, and with the help of this bucketing we know that which particular product and a particular class, Mumbai to Delhi discounted class, Mumbai to Delhi full fare is coming in which bucket. So, this completes our issue of bucketing. Now, we will see that how we are going to develop the capacity allocation, and with the capacity allocation the calculation of its total revenue with the help of one Excel diagram. So, as we just discussed that now we are coming to this Excel sheet, and if you want you can all try simultaneously. Here we have in this column B the different kind of products Mumbai to Delhi, Delhi to Roorkee and Mumbai to Roorkee, and for each of them we have discounted and full fare, and in column D we have written the total fares which are possible, and in column E and F and G and H we have given for leg 1 and leg 2 respectively their net leg fare and the bucket classifications. Now, we are following this rule of bucket 1 for net leg fare more than 1000, for 600 to 1000 we are keeping the bucket 2, and for less than 600 we are keeping the bucket 3. And as I told you in the PPT that we have arranged these net leg fares in ascending descending orders, and here we see that up to this label this is bucket 3, this is bucket 2 and these are bucket 1, and we have respectively copied these numbers in column F and H. Now, for flight 1 we have this data that if the fare is 1000, because if you see for flight 1 there are 4 different types of NLFs which are available. For 1000 which is between Mumbai to Roorkee, the demand data is given to us in terms of mean demand and its standard deviation. So, this is basically mean demand and this is the standard deviation. So, mean demand is 16.5 units and the standard deviation is 5.6. The 650 and 500, for them the mean demands are 44.2 and 35.1 respectively, with standard deviations of 15 and 11.2 respectively, and for the Mumbai to Delhi discounted fare class, the mean demand is 40 and the standard deviation is 15. Now, for example, if I am calculating the aggregated demand, because now for further calculations we have to apply that how much capacity I am allocating for different buckets. So, in a way you have flight 1 and this is flight 2, and here you have bucket 1, bucket 2 and bucket 3. Similarly, for flight 2 also you have bucket 3, bucket 2 and bucket 1. Now, you can understand easily that bucket 1 are having the highest capacity of flight 1, bucket 2 second highest, the total capacity minus protection level you are keeping for bucket 1, that is the capacity available up to bucket 2, and for bucket 3 you will have capacity which is available, total capacity minus the protection level up to bucket 2, and same applies for flight 2 also. So, we have to see that what should be the booking limit protection levels for different buckets. So, you need to keep this visual impression in your mind that where is bucket 1, where is bucket 2 and where is bucket 3. So, you can see in this diagram that we have just made. Now, for this bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3 for our flight number 1, in this case the weighted fare, that is a term we are introducing because of different fares which are possible under one bucket. Like if you see this diagram, there are 3 types of fares which are applicable in bucket 3, 2 fares are available in bucket 2 and 3 fares are available in bucket 1. Out of these, let us say there are few fares which are available in flight 1 and few fares which are available in flight 2. So, if I say that 1550 is in flight 2, 1050 is in flight 2, this is in flight 1, 750 is in flight 2, 650 is in flight 1, 550 is in flight 2, 500 is in flight 1 and 400 is also in flight 1. So, 4 fares are in flight 1 and 4 fares in flight 2. So, and in every category, every bucket, there are more than one fare in a particular case. So, we have to find that with respect to bucket, what is the weighted fare for that particular category. Like in bucket 3, you have only one fare in 1000 category. So, you are going to have weighted fare equal to 1000. You have only one fare in bucket 2 also for second bucket, that is 650. So, this is coming as it is, but you have 2 fares for bucket 1 in flight 1, that these are 500 and 400. So, you take a weighted average which is there in cell C23, and if you see that how we have calculated. So, if I go to cell C23, you will see in the formula bar the formula which we have used for that purpose. So, this formula says that it is the sum product of B15 to B16, B15 B16 to C15 C16, their sum product divided by total demand, this. So, this is giving you the weighted fare for bucket 3 in case of flight 1, and then you are calculating the mean demand. So, that is also coming in the similar fashion. You have to do aggregate demand for all the possible such cases, like 16.5 as it is coming here, 44.2 as it is coming here, and then you have to aggregate the 35.1 and 40 for getting the aggregated demand for the bucket 3 for flight 1, and then you have to calculate the sigma label, the standard deviation 5.6 as it is coming, 15 as it is coming, and then you have to calculate the variance of 11.2 and 15, and you can see that how this 18.72, that is this cell number G17, where we have put the formula for calculation of standard deviation, and we have directly copied this 18.72 from here to here. So, in this way our table is complete. Now, after this you have to start that what is the average weighted, if you see this particular cell F20, that is giving you average weighted fare, average weighted fare. So, for class bucket number 1, since we have only one fare, that is 1000. So, the average weighted fare in that case is 1000, and similarly for other two categories you have the weighted fare like 745 and 580. Now, we come to particular case of demand that is also given to us, that is coming with the help of concept of aggregation. We have discussed in our earlier sessions. I am not going to discuss that. You have to follow this EMSR B approach. You may remember that we have followed EMSR A and EMSR B, and in that class you may remember that EMSR B was giving us better results. So, we actually came with this EMSR B formula here, and we applied this EMSR B, and finally, if I go to this column I and see cell 21 and cell 22, where we have applied that formula, and you see that this is the normal inverse where we require three things: normal inverse, probability, mean and standard deviation. So, we have taken the probability, mean and standard deviation in this case for cell I22. Now, here if you see, the value of probability is coming 1 minus C23 by F22. Now, C23 is basically 446, or you can say 447, and F22 is coming my average weighted fare, that is 745. Then mu is my mean demand, that is 60.7, and then the standard deviation, that is 16.01. So, that is so that gives us the value of protection label we are going to keep for bucket 2, that is coming around 56.66, or you can say round off in 57. Similarly, I will calculate the protection label for my bucket 1, that is coming in the similar fashion. You can just check the formula. If I go to cell I21, the formula is available here, and this is similar to that. The only thing is the values of C and F will change, the value of mu will change and value of sigma will change, but the formula will remain in the same fashion. And now, I got the protection labels for bucket 2 and bucket 1, 56 and 14 if I say in the round off. Now, you see that there may be different types of capacities of your aeroplane. Now, if you have a aeroplane of capacity 50, on very first request, if there is a booking request coming which is falling in bucket 3, like bucket 3 booking limits which may be possible like 446, and in fact let me just clarify to all of you, this is my bucket 3 here, otherwise it is creating some confusion, and this is bucket 1. So, if a booking request is coming in this bucket 446. For example, anyone who is requesting for Mumbai to Roorkee discounted fare class ticket, I will not give that ticket to that person, because this is coming in bucket number 3, and there is no capacity available for bucket 3 if the flight size is 50. But if the flight size is 60, I may give 2-3 bookings to those requests which are falling in bucket number 3, and accordingly we have calculated the revenues for different type of capacities of 50, 60, 70, 90 type of servers, that in all these cases you are keeping these number of facilities for your upper classes, and all the booking which is coming in the bucket 3 can be accepted depending upon what is the size of your aeroplane, and as the size is increasing, you see that your total revenue is also increasing. Similar calculation you will also do for your flight 2, that is the second leg, and that will, because it is not necessary that in the both the legs you have the same kind of aircraft. So, if you have one aircraft of let us say 80 seats, in another flight you have the aircraft which is of let us say 50 seats. So, on the basis of these two things, based on the protection level you just calculated, the protection level available for on the same line for my second flight is given to you in this fashion, that is 83 and 42. These are the protection level available for second leg. So, unless until you have a flight capacity of 90, before that you are not going to accept any booking which may fall in bucket 3 for flight number 2, and therefore, you need minimum aircraft of 90 capacity if you are going to accept some bookings in bucket 3 case also. So, with this you are able to see that depending upon the size of your aircraft, how many seats you are going to give for different type of products and for different types of fare classes. So, this example gives us the practical implication or practical way of handling the network management problem using the concept of virtual nesting, and where finally we have applied the AMSR rule for getting the protection labels for different product classes. So, now after completing this Excel diagram, Excel calculation, we see that what are the limitations of virtual nesting. So, now virtual nesting has some disadvantages also, that is the indexing process can create potential difficulties in data collection and forecasting, because in the indexing process we are using the concept of opportunity cost. Now, how are you calculating the opportunity cost? That may have some variations, and because of those variations the calculation of NLF may vary also. So, therefore, that is one difficulty in using the concept of virtual nesting. Now, if data is collected at the virtual class level, then re-indexing can alter the parameters of demand in a virtual class by changing which products are mapped into each virtual class. Because here we are creating the virtual classes, and you have mapped your different products into different buckets 1, 2, 3. Now, it is quite possible that a bucket number 3, where you have one product which is a direct product also Mumbai to Roorkee, and in the same bucket you have one product which is Mumbai to Delhi and another Delhi to Roorkee. So, there may be some combinations of products which may come into a particular bucket, which may find it difficult to execute also, that we have just seen in the case of Excel diagram also. So, these are some of the potential difficulties in virtual nesting. So, sometime because of the convenience we may go with greedy algorithm itself, because that is very easy to operate. Otherwise, in case of deterministic demands, we may go with the linear programming also, and if we want to have more involved calculations, we will go with the virtual nesting system. So, with this we come to end of the discussions that how network management is handled with the help of virtual nesting systems. With this we come to end of this video. Thank you very much.